Hi, good morning, and welcome to this. This is yet another video of I make an ASMR video because Mary goes out of town on holiday and I'm stuck at home because of work. It's a long title. It's a work in progress. But yeah, it is currently Christmas Eve while I'm filming this. So that's fun. I had the opening shift at work today, so I was up at 6:30, bright and early, at work. After driving Mary to the airport last night, so I only got a few hours of sleep, so I'm a little tired and sleepy, but I really wanted to make this video, because today, one of the things that I've been wanting to do is reorganize my bookshelf that you see in the back over there. Because Mary and I love to read, and we have a lot of books that we brought with us. It was a big debate about which books we were going to bring when we moved. It was like picking favorite children. It was awful. It was a bloodbath. But yeah, we brought a lot of books. Some that I've read before and wanted to reread. Others that I hadn't gotten around to reading yet. And then for like our birthdays, we got more books. And on top of that, we've bought more books. So it kind of got a little messy and all over the place. But the books just shoved wherever they would fit. So I wanted to redo it and make it look nice. So today, I'll be going through all the books on our bookshelf. Kind of talking about them, why I like them, if I've read them or not. And doing some tapping and scratching and ASMR, things like that. It's just gonna be a lot of rambling. So I apologize in advance. But I love reading and I love books. Yeah, so let's begin. Up first, we have... it's a glossy book cover, so the light's reflecting on it. My ring light. Also, I finally figured out how to plug my headphones in my mic so I can hear what sounds I'm making, and it's very fun. But this is Illuminae. It is one of my favorite books of all time. Because it is not told like a regular story. It is told through pictures, diagrams, emails, personal accounts, diary entries, surveillance footage interpretations, graphs, and so it's a compilation of files, hence the name, the Illuminae files. And I actually just reread the series when I moved, and just finished the last one like last week. So, I thought it might... also this cover is really cool because look, it comes off, and look at the cut. You can see me in the reflection of the cover. And it looks like this naked, and I love when books look good naked. Nice. Am I not merciful? It's so creepy. This is not inside. I'm gonna read you the first page. Oh my god, I forgot. It's freaking signed. Not the flex. But hell yes, it's for Grace. Fight like a girl. Thank you. I'll just read the first few sentences to pique your interest in case you want to read this book, which I highly recommend. It's very sci-fi. It's sentence-based. It's very fun. So here's the file that almost killed me, director. I won't bore you with the tally of databases plundered, light years jumped, or cute sniffling orphans curated in this compilation. Our fee already flexed the level of difficulty, but the start is out there if you know where to look. Seems your cleanup crews weren't quite as thorough as you would like, and your little corporate war isn't quite as secret as you'd hoped. Intrigue. Exciting. Oh. Hell yeah. Here's the second book in the Illuminae Files series called Gemina. 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 This one's really pretty. I love this one a lot. Let's do a little bit of this. was standing up, surrounded by cold darkness and stale, dusty air. Metal ground against metal. A lurching shudder shook the floor beneath him. He fell down at the sudden movement and shuffled backwards on his hands and feet, drops of sweat beading on his forehead despite the cool air. His back struck a hard metal wall. He slid along it until he hit the corner of the room. Sinking to the floor, he pulled his legs up tight against his body, hoping his eyes would soon adjust to the darkness. With another jolt, the room jerked upward in an old lift in a mine shaft, like an old lift in a mine shaft. Harsh sounds of chains and pulleys, like the workings of an ancient steel factory, echoed throughout the room, bouncing off the walls of the hollow, tinny whine. The lightless elevator swayed back and forth as it ascended, turning the boy's stomach sour with nausea. A smell like burnt oil invaded his senses, making him feel worse. He wanted to cry, but no tears came. He could only sit there alone, waiting. That was like the first half page of the Maze Runner. It's very glossy. We have the rest of the Maze Runner books. We have the Scorch Trials. The Scorch Trials. Ooh, there's like texture on the words. That's fun. But yeah, so it's the Scorch Trials. Then the Death Cure. The Death Cure. And the Kill Order. I think one of these is a prequel. I think it might be this one. I actually don't know. Because I'm pretty sure there was only 3. So one of those is a prequel. I don't know. I haven't read them. Nice. These violent lights. A beautiful dust cover, might I add. It's nice and matte. It's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, because I read this in a hot second ago, yes, this is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, which I love. It was very fun to read. It was also fun being like, oh, that's Mercutio and that's Benvolio. I don't know, just love that. But I'll read you the first page. Wait, let's see what it looks like naked. Let's see if it's a good cover. That's kind of cute. It's got like a sword and a rose. Pretty cute. This is the prologue. I'll read a bit of the first page. I apologize in advance for my pronunciation. I don't know some of the correct pronunciations of these words, so forgive me. So, prologue. In glittering Shanghai, a monster awakens. Its eyes snap open in the belly of the Huangpu River, jaws unhinging at once to taste the foul blood seeping into the waters. Lines of red slither through this ancient city's modern streets, lines that draw webs in the cobblestones like a network of veins, and drip by drip, these veins surge into the waters, pouring the city's life essence into the mouth of another. As the night grows dark, the monster pushes itself up, eventually emerging from the waves with the leisure of a forgotten god. When it turns its head up, all that can be seen is the low-hanging, plump moon. It breathes in. It slinks closer. That'll be enough for that. Interesting, is it not? It's a really good book. I had a good time. And it has a cliffhanger, and the second book isn't out because I think this is relatively new. So know that going in, that the second book's not out, and it ends on a cliffhanger. Because that sucked. We have another series, a series that I love, that I started reading in high school, which might have been a little too young to start reading this. But here is Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses. I bought this back in high school, so I have like the old covers, which are nice and classic, but like the fourth book I have has like the new version of the covers, so it just like doesn't fit with the rest of the series that I have, which is kind of annoying. But this is A Court of Thorns and Roses, one of my favorite series. It's kind of trash, and like, it's not high literature. I mean, I just really like it. It's kind of just like fun to read, and I like it a lot. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, this is A Court of Thorns and Roses. It originally started as kind of like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and now it's devolved into some fairy smut, basically. And honestly, I live. But yeah, this book series, after the first book's pretty tame, but after the first book, it gets a little 18 plus. So I don't know why I was reading it in high school, but, you know, you live and you learn. Let's see what it looks like without its dust. Oh, nothing. People should really invest on making the naked books look good as well. Because when I was like in high school, middle school, I hated having dust covers on my books when I held them. I still do. I still take them off when I read them, but then put them back on so they look nice on my shelf. So I'm walking around school with an ugly ass book. So invest in making your naked book covers just as pretty. Anyway. Ooh. There's a map. I love it when books have maps. I actually, if you look right here, you can see that this is the map that I have. Oh, let's see if I can do this in monitor. Right there. I actually drew this and put it on like tea stained paper to look like an actual map. So that was cute of me. So yeah, I have the map of Perinthian on my bookshelf. This is Perinthian. We have, I don't think you can read it from here, but they're sectioned off into courts. We have the night court at the top, then the day court, the dawn court, under the mountain, which is not a court, separating the dawn court and the winter court. Then we have the summer court, the autumn court, and the spring court. Then in this forest we have the wall, and then it's the mortal lands. How exciting. The second one is considerably larger. Let me show you for reference. It's about double the length. Which, I mean, I'm excited for. This is a great one. Also, I really like this cover because it's blue. But this is A Court of Mist and Fury. A Court of Mist and Fury. See how many pages this has. Alright, not including the acknowledgements. This book has 624 pages. 624. And if anyone has read this book knows, I have the chapter 55 bookmarked. Anyway, A Court of Wings and Ruin. A Court of Wings and Ruin. I didn't check the other one without a dust cover, but I think they're all blank. Yes, this one's actually kind of gross. You can see my little grubby fingerprints, because I just reread this. I reread this series when I first moved out here, because she released the last book, and I I stopped reading them in high school and lost track of it because I have no object permanence. And then I saw that she released another book, and I was like, well, guess I gotta reread the entire series to read the next one. And I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, this is A Court of Wings and Ruin. Court of Wings and Ruin. Then here's the last one, and you'll see the difference in the cover, because this is the one that like matches the new covers, and I think they're really pretty. And I like the original covers too, but I like this one better, but I just hate that it doesn't match the only other ones. A part of me almost bought those 3 books with the other covers, and I was like, I don't need to be wasting my money like that. So here is A Court of Silver Flames, which I got 5% off. Look at that. But you see what I mean? Like, look at this cover. And look at this. They don't look like the same series. So it's kind of annoying. But this is probably one of my favorites of the series. I really like this one because it's told from a different character's perspective. And I just thought that was interesting. This is a really pretty dust. Like, I just love this. There's so much detail in like the mask. High ring light. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, like look at that. That's so much detail. And I think this one, if you take the dust jacket off, it's gonna be pretty. I mean, it's plain, but at least it's a color, which I would say is a step up from just plain black. Ooh, but the inside's cool. Alright, she's stepping it up. So yeah, these books are about the Fae. Like fairies, like that, like F-A-E, Fae. So it's kind of like that. And finishing off our Sarah J. Maas books, I have the entirety of the Throne of Glass series. So I will show you these. So first of all, we have Throne of Glass, which again, I started this in high school. And then I got like a few books in, and then forgot about it because I like caught up to when she was releasing books, and I don't like waiting because then I forget about them. And so years went by with like not reading the series, and then I looked and she'd completed the series, and I was like, wow, it's time to buy the rest of the books and read it all. And I did, like a few months ago. So here's the first book, Throne of Glass. I love this series much more than The Court of Thorns and Roses. I just think it's more interesting. It's more of like an engaging book. While that's like fun, romancy, like there's like plot, but it's more about the romance and the characters. Like this is characters and plot and romance, and I like it a lot. Again, it's like fae and fairies, but she's also an assassin, so that's really cool. Oh, it's a very well-loved book. And not to brag again, but this one is also signed by Sarah J. Maas. Oh, this also has a map, which, again, I don't know if you can tell, but it is the second map that I have drawn on my bookshelf, because I really like this series. I'm planning on drawing more maps from books that I have maps, because I really like tracing and making maps, because they just look cool. But yeah, this is the map. This is, okay, I haven't really talked to people about this book, so I don't know, like, the official pronunciations of things, so I make it up. This is Aurelia. The entire continent is Aurelia. We have the Western Wastes up in here. Up here, we have Terracin. In the middle, we have Ardalan. I always pronounce it Ardalan in my head, but it sounds better saying Ardalan. Right in the middle, we have 2 little mini ones. We have Melisande and Fenharo. And at the bottom, we have Elway. And then all the way over here, we have the Deserted Land, which isn't as deserted as the name suggests. And then across the Great Ocean is Wyndolin. That was Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass. And so the second book, Crown of Midnight. Crown is now a hardback, and it is Heir of Fire. Heir of Fire. These books get bigger and bigger and more pages, but I figured out something, that they don't look much thicker than the one before them, because the pages get thinner. So this book, let's actually do a page check, shall we? Throne of Glass has 404 pages. 404. Crown of Midnight has 418 pages. 418 pages. Let's see. This book has 562 pages. 562 pages. Some more. Queen of Shadows. Queen of Shadows. Queen of Shadows. This book has 645 pages. 645 pages. Wolf, Empire of Storms. Empire of Storms. Empire of Storms. Ooh, this one has art in it. There we go. Anything interesting on the cover? No. See, these pages are so much thinner than the ones before. Because this book has 689 pages, which is more than the last book. But if you look, the last book is thicker than this one, but this one has more pages. It's like the pages are increasingly thinner. Like, listen to the difference. Here's this page. Like, see that? There's the thick page. And this is the thin page. See what I mean? You can hear the difference. Anyway. And next, the most controversial book in the series. Tower of Dawn, which I couldn't be bothered to buy in the hardback, because it is told from the point of view of one of my least favorite characters of the entire book. This book tried to make me sympathize with him, and yeah, I don't hate him as much, but it was still very annoying to have to read an entire book from his perspective, separate from the original plot of the book, because it happens like at the same time, and we need to know this information going into the finale, but it was still really annoying. I mean, it was a good book, but I was like, where's Selena? You know, where's the main plot of the movie? But we get a new map, because they're on a different continent. They're on the southern continent. So we have like the northern desert, Antica. Let's see, the Balrune, the Tavon Mountains, the Keystone Desert. Again, I make up the way to pronounce these things because I want to. But yeah, this is a pretty thick book. Let's see. 660 pages, which is less than the one before, but still, like, look how big this is. I don't like the thinner pages. I feel like I'm gonna rip it. And finally, the last book. We have Kingdom of Ash. Let's see if she finally, for the last book, pulled it out and put something on the big book. She did. It's her signature and a sword. Finally, she did something, so it's not just a Jackson series. The first one is The Lightning Thief. It's a very well-loved book. You can see the worn edges and the crease. Let me just read you some of the chapter titles. Because instead of reading, I'll read the first page because it's iconic. But let's read some chapter titles, shall we? Because they're so good. Chapter 1. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Chapter 2. 3 old ladies knit the socks of death. Chapter 3. Grover unexpectedly loses his pants. Chapter 4. My mother teaches me bullfighting. Chapter 5. I play pinochle with a horse. Chapter 6. I become supreme lord of the bathroom. Chapter 7. My dinner goes up in smoke. Chapter 8. We capture a flag. Chapter 9. I am offered a quest. Chapter 10. I ruin a perfectly good bus. So on and so forth. Another just notable mention is A God Buys Us Cheeseburgers. Chapter 1. I'll just read a little bit of the first page. Chapter 1. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice is, close this book right now. Believe whatever lie your mom and dad told you about your birth, and try to lead a normal life. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. If you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great, read on. I envy you for being able to believe that none of this ever happened. But if you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately. You might be one of us, and once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too, and they'll come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'll stop there. I read that warning, and then proceeded to see myself in these books, and I was like, it's all about like having ADHD and stuff. And as a kid, I didn't know I had ADHD. I didn't get diagnosed till I was like a senior in high school, so I went a while without knowing that I had ADHD. So I read this stuff like this. Books are playing out of my lap, and was like, am I a half-blood? Anyway, iconic. Nothing beats a well-loved paperback book. I went through this phase in high school where I only wanted hardback books, and looking back at it, like, you can't do this. I mean, sometimes it's annoying because, like, you can't really put the book down and, like, have it stay open. But, so the first one is The Lightning Thief. The second one is Sea of Monsters. The Sea of Monsters. Let's look at some of these chapter titles. Chapter 1. My best friend shops for a wedding dress. Chapter 2. I play dodgeball with cannibals. Chapter 3. We hail the taxi of eternal torment. Chapter 4. Tyson plays with fire. Yeah, these are great. Notable mention. Chapter 14. We meet the sheep of doom. Great. Then the third one, we have the Titan's Curse. The Titan's Curse. Alright. Let's read a couple chapter titles. So chapter 1, my rescue operation goes very wrong. Chapter 2, the vice principal gets a missile launcher. Chapter 3, Bianca D'Angelo makes a choice. Chapter 4, Talia torches New England. I can't ever remember if it's Thalia or Talia. I say Talia. Chapter 5, I place an underwater phone call. Some notable mentions. I go snowboarding with the pig. We have book 4, The Battle of the Labyrinth. The Battle of the Labyrinth. I remember loving this one. I reread these over the first Percy Jackson series over the beginning of quarantine when we first locked down. It was that and this and the Hunger Games. I reread them. Alright. Let's read some chapter titles. Chapter 1. I battle the cheerleading squad. Chapter 2. The underworld sends me a prank call. Chapter 3. We play tag with scorpions. Notable mention. Chapter 5. Nico buys Happy Meals for the dead. Then what's really annoying is that the last book of the series is a hardback that we've lost the cover to. So like we have all those fun paperbacks and then just like this, The Last Olympian. The Last Olympian is just like naked and boring. Well, hey, at least that's cute. Why couldn't that be like on the cover? So it's not just like, anyway. Let's read some chapter titles. Chapter 1, I go cruising with explosives. Chapter 2, I meet some fishy relatives. Chapter 3, I get a sneak peek at my own death. Chapter 4, we burn a metal shroud. Chapter 5, I drive my dog into a tree. Notable mentions. Chapter 8, I take the worst bath ever. The Last Olympian. So that is the entirety of the first series of the Percy Jackson series. It's like the original series. And then we have some fun little extras. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the ultimate guide, with a nice little holographic thing on the front. And if you open it, nice magnet. They have little cards with like the official art, which look really wild and kind of gross, but it's the official art. What are you gonna do? But yeah, this book has like art, and it tells you a little bit about like the mythology, and it gives you like Percy's activity schedule for like the Camp Half-Blood. So it's like at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Monday he has breakfast and cabin inspection. At 9 o'clock to 10:30 he has ancient Greek, and then like at 13:30 and 15:30, oh my god, it's military time. So at 1:30 to 3:30, god, math, he has weapon making. Like, you know what I mean? It's really cool. And then we have Percy Jackson and the Demigod Files. So it says that these, compiled by Camp Half-Blood's senior scribe, Rick Riordan, these top-secret archives include 3 of Percy Jackson's most perilous adventures, behind-the-scene interviews with your favorite characters, a map of Camp Half-Blood, and more. Let's look at that map. Here's the map of Camp Half-Blood. So we have Camp Half-Blood, Half-Blood Hill, we have the big house, the volleyball courts, arts and crafts, Thalia's Pine, Thalia, who cares? We have Sepharos Creek, the mess hall, the climbing wall, the amphitheater, stables, armory, arena, and the strawberry fields. And right in the center, we have the cabins. Oh, and there's a fireworks beach. And then the last little extra we have are the Demigod Diaries. Can you tell we really like the series? Including new short stories, games, and more. Oh, I think this one came out after the next next series came out, because this says, you must prepare yourself for a difficult future, fighting monsters, adventuring across the globe, and dealing with temperamental Greek and Roman gods. Because, yeah, here's the book. There's like pictures in it. Oh yeah, this definitely came out with the next series, because that's Leo. That's what Talia looks like. Get it, girl. Hell yeah. And then we have the next series, which all look really ugly because I don't know where the dust jackets are, but at least they're not just black books. The first book in the second half of the series, The Lost Hero. Now, during quarantine, I read the first half of the series, and I was like, I should read The Lost Hero next. But this isn't a spoiler. The whole plot of the first book is that Percy has no memory, and that is my least favorite trope of all time. I hate when characters lose their memory. It is like my least favorite thing. It makes me so anxious all the time. Like, yeah, it's interesting, but like, I hate it. So I didn't want to reread them, even though I love these books. I was just like, I just can't get through that first book where he doesn't know where he is or who he is. Made me so upset. But, oh yeah, the first chapter is by this bitch named Jason. Like, no, excuse me, where's Percy? But I'll still give you the first chapter, which is from Jason. Oh, this isn't a spoiler, because the first book, Percy is missing, and then we find him in the second book. Also, these aren't really spoilers, these books have been out for years. I'm so sorry. But yeah, this is Jason. Even before he got electrocuted, Jason was having a rotten day. He woke in the backseat of a school bus, not sure where he was, holding hands with a girl he didn't know. That wasn't necessarily the rotten part. The girl was cute. He couldn't figure out who she was or what he was doing there. He sat up and rubbed his eyes, trying to think. A few dozen kids sprawled in the seats in front of him, listening to iPads, talking or sleeping. They all looked around his age. 15, 16. Okay, that was scary. He didn't know his own age. So, same plot. Jason doesn't know who he is or where he is. See, I hate the amnesia plot. And the second book, so the first book's called The Lost Hero, because they've lost Percy Jackson. And also, Jason is lost because he doesn't know who he is. The second book is called The Son of Neptune, which, if you know Roman gods, Neptune is Poseidon as a Roman god, so the son of Poseidon, Percy. So we finally get to see Percy again. Thank God. The first chapter is a Percy chapter, so thank God. But we get a new map of Camp Jupiter, because the whole plot of these second series of the book is to introduce the Roman gods into canon. So both the Greek gods and the Roman gods exist at the same time. I'm still kind of foggy about how that works, so I probably need to reread them. The second one was Son of Neptune. The third one, which is very well loved, is The Mark of Athena. The Mark of Athena. The fourth one is The House of Hades. The House of Hades. The House of Hades. And the last book is The Blood of Olympus. A very ominous title for a child's book. The Blood of Olympus. The Blood of Olympus. Those are all the Percy Jackson books I have. Now, I read this series in the wrong order, from my understanding. I started with reading Six of Crows. Great series. I love this duology so much. Six of Crows is a heist book set in the world that was in the Shadow of Bone series. It's set in that same world. But I read these first without reading Shadow and Bone first. But I thoroughly enjoyed it and understood it. So you don't have to read those three first. You can read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom before that. But something I love about these books is that the edges are colored as well. And I just think that's so cool. Like, oh, it even has a little imprint of said something, but even when it's naked, it just looks so sleek because the edges are painted. And that's just so cool. So that's 6 of crows. Well, we have a map. A very fun map. Oh, we get 2 maps. And here's the second map of the place where the heist will be taking place. I'll read the little side thing. Ketterdam, a bustling hub of international trade where anything can be had for the right price. And no one knows that better than criminal prodigy Kaz Brecker. Kaz is offered a chance at a deadly heist that can make him rich beyond his wildest dreams. But he can't pull it off alone. A convict with a thirst for revenge. A sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager. A runaway with a privileged past. A spy known as the Wraith. A heart-trender using her magic to survive the slums. A thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Kaz's crew are the only ones who might stand in between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first. Like, come on. You can't tell me you hear that and you don't want to read this book. 6 of Crows. And the second book is Crooked Kingdom, which again we see the painted sides. That's just so cool. And again, it has a little crow on the front. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a little indent. Let's see. Hear that? But 10 out of 10 would recommend these books. And then the original series, where it all started. That's the last one. I need to reread these. It's been so long. I was gonna reread them because the Netflix show Shadow and Bone came out, and then I forgot. But I brought them when we moved, so I would do just that. But I still haven't gotten around to it. So the first book is Shadow and Bone, and I really love these covers. They're just so pretty. Shadow and Bone. A map. I love the way they do maps in these books and series. I love the detail and the shading. It just looks so cool. A very pretty map. One that I kind of want to draw, but it looks really detailed, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it justice. The second book, if I'm not mistaken, is Ruin and Rising. Again, just like look how pretty these covers are. So good. And like they're nice and like Ruin and Rising. I always like to check the maps at the beginning of books to see if they change between books. Oh, there's not even a map in this one. Rude. And the last one is Siege and Storm. Siege and Storm. Siege and Storm. Is there no map in this one either? You should put maps in all of your books, because some people are forgetful. Next we have a duology that I just recently read and purchased myself because I was hearing good things about it on TikTok, and I really enjoyed the books. It's just a duology, and it's called We Hunt the Flame. Again, look how beautiful. Like, look at that. Are you kidding? It is a great series. Like, a great 2 books. I loved it. We Hunt the Flame. Oh my gosh. Look at that map. Are you kidding? Look at that detail. Like, that is just... like, no one's doing it like that. Act 1. Silver as a crescent moon. Chapter 1. People lived because she killed. And if that meant braving the R's, where even the sun was afraid to glimpse, then so be it. On the occasional good day, Zafira bint Iskander mused that she was braver than the sun itself. Most days, She couldn't wait until the Evernight Ars was behind her, and she was firmly rooted in the plains of her caliphate, Dama snow and all. Today was one of those days. Despite the antlers rough against her hands, she stepped free of the cursed prison of a forest, pretending her sigh was due to the task being complete, rather than a product of the tightly cored fear unwinding in her heart. The morning sun kissed her cheeks in welcome. We hunt the flame. Ooh, the tagline is people lived because she killed. People died because he lived. Like, come on. Great book. And the second, We Free the Stars. Again. Oh my gosh. Look at that cover. It's just so pretty. We free the stars. We free the stars. Also, great title. Just really cool. It has a little lion on it. We Free the Stars. We have a book that I bought because I saw it on TikTok again. It's called The Love Hypothesis. It's just a romance book, and I really enjoyed it. That's all I can say. I liked it a lot. I read it really fast, and I don't have to explain myself to you. It's very fun. Prologue. I'll read you just like the first line. Frankly, Olive was a bit on the fence about this whole grad school thing. I bet you a bunch of people can relate to that. But it's a very fun love story. I like it a lot. Up next, I also bought because I saw it on TikTok and it was not what I was expecting. Very 18 plus, very R-rated. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but it was wild. Let me tell you. Wild. It's called Neon Gods. I probably shouldn't be admitting that I read this book, but I did. And like, I liked it, but it was a little intense for me. It has a really nice, like, matte, smooth cover. Someone framed it to me as the retelling of Hades and Persephone, so I bought it without reading anything else about it. I didn't realize that it's not really a retelling of Hades and Persephone. It is. But more. But I mean, if you like books like this, it's a great one. I like it, but it was just a lot and not what I was expecting. I wanted more story, not just smut. These are books I got for my birthday, and it came in this fun, like sleeve thing. It is the Cruel Prince series, and I really like these books. They have really pretty covers. I really like it a lot. The Cruel Prince. Let's see. It didn't look pretty. Ooh. That's so pretty. I forgot. Yeah, these look good naked. I'm pretty sure these ones have a map too. Oh yeah. This one's a really fun map. It's like... Oh, there we go. I just think that's so, like... so fun. It's also about the Fae. But it's also, like, set in the mortal world. And, like, modern day. I really like it. It's very interesting. It's very, like, classic interpretation of the Fae. Like, they can't lie. And, like, they're all, like, and there's a lot of, like, classic Fae, like, creatures. Oh, let me read a little excerpt from the first page. Oh, I'll just read this. It says Book 1. Like, look how pretty that is. Every fairy child may keep 2 strong ponies and 10 sheep. All have houses, each his own, built of brick or granite stone. They live on cherries, they run wild. I'd love to be a fairy's child. Very cute. The second book is The Wicked King. Again, a good cover. It's like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's green. So good. The Wicked King. And the last book is The Queen of Nothing. The Queen of Nothing. And that is the cover for the last one. The Queen of Nothing. So that is the Quill Prince trilogy. I really like these books. So we have a book I got for my birthday that I haven't gotten around to reading yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, just look at that cover. The Priory of the Orange Tree. Let me get a close-up of this so you can see how much detail's in this cover. Like, are you kidding? I don't know too much of what it's about, but I've heard great things about this book. And it's just the one book, which I love. We have a map. Yeah, like I said, I haven't read this book, so this is exciting. Oh. There's more. Ooh. I'm so excited. I actually don't know anything about what this book's about, so let's read this and discover together, shall we? A world divided. A queendom without an heir. An ancient enemy awakens. The house of Brethnet has ruled Aeneas for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabran the Ninth must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are getting closer to her door. Ed Duran is an outsider at court, though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting. She is loyal to the hidden society of mages. Ed keeps an E-A-D, Ed. Ed keeps a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the dark sea, Tanya has trained all her life to be a dragon rider, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. Intriguing. Here's another book by Leigh Bardugo. I think that's how you say her name. She's the same one that wrote Six of Crows in the Christian trilogy. It's called Ninth House. I really like it, but again, left on a cliffhanger, and the second book is not out, which I hate, because that means I'll forget everything that happens to the book when the other book comes out, so I'll have to reread this before I can read the other one, which is fine, I'll do that, but I'd rather just read it now. But it's very different from her other books, but I really liked it. It's Ninth House. It has this wonderful snake. The one thing I'll say about this book is that there's a guy named, what is his name? Oh yeah, his name's Daniel Arlington, so they call him Darlington, and the amount of times I think about the word Darlington is unprecedented. The mark that word, just that name, has left on my life. Like, that's genius. His name's Daniel Arlington, so they call him Darlington. I don't know. Just for that reason alone, you should read this book. I just love that. It's great. It's like about Yale and cults and stuff. It's very fun and like magic, but like culty magic. Next we have Red, White, and Royal Blue. My friend in college wanted me. It's their favorite book, and they wanted me to read it. I borrowed their copy, and then immediately had to buy one of my own. I just really like it. It's a romance novel between like, what, I think it's it's the son of the president and like the prince of England. It's enemies to lovers, modern day, and it's just fun, and I liked it. Second book by that same author is One Last Stop. My friend, who also recommended it, Red, White, and Royal Blue, also recommended this. They were so excited to see it, to like read it, because instead of gay men, it is lesbians. So, very exciting. And I also really enjoyed this. Like, it was just a good, fun romance to read. And, yeah, I liked it. Just a good romance book. One Last Stop. Here we go. Probably one of my favorite books of all time. It is a duology. And I bought it years ago when it was like trending on like book YouTube. Because I used to watch a lot of booktubers. And they recommend this book. And so I bought it and I just never got around to reading it until quarantine. And I was so engrossed. I read them both in like 2 days. And I even ended up reading to my mom out loud the second half of the second book, and we sobbed, open mouth sobbed together about it. The book is The Wrath and the Dawn. The Wrath and the Dawn. Look at that. That cover is great. I also like when books have like this textured edge. Makes me feel fancy, like I'm reading an old journal. A very simple, plain map. It's inspired by 1001 Nights. 1001 Nights. That's what this is inspired by. So this is the prologue, just a page of it. It would not be a welcome dawn. Already the sky told the story with its sad halo of silver beckoning from beyond the horizon. A young man stood alongside his father on the rooftop terrace of the marble palace. They watched the pale light of the early morning sun push back the darkness with slow, careful deliberation. "Where is he?" the young man asked. His father did not look away. "He has not left his chamber since he gave the order." The young man ran a hand through his wavy hair, exhaling all the while. "There will be riots in the city streets for this, and you will put them to rout in short order." It was a terse response, still made to a somber stretch of light. "In short order? Do you not think a mother and father, regardless of birth or rank, will fight to avenge their child?" Finally the father faced his son. His eyes were drawn and sunken, as though a weight tugged at them from within. "They will fight. They should fight. And you will assure that it amounts to nothing. You will do your duty to your king. Do you understand?" The young man paused. "I understand." I just want to read this last line of the prologue. It's so baller. He braced his elbows on his knees and made a crown of his hands above his brow. Then he shuttered his gaze, and the words echoed through him, filling his ears with the promise of a life rooted in the past, of a life atoning for his sins. 100 lives for the one you took, one life to one dawn. Should you fail but a single morn, I shall take from you your dreams. I shall take from you your city, and I shall take from you these lives 1,000-fold. Freaking dramatic, right? So good. And the second book is The Rose and the Dagger, which, beautiful cover. The map with a little bit more locations, as we discover throughout the book. Like, these edges just make me feel like an adventurer. Love it. So yes, years later, and then I forgot about it. It's a very interesting premise. I just haven't gotten more than like 20 pages into it and then forgotten about it. I don't know why. It's a really cool, it's a really soft dust cover. And like, look how just like sleek. Scythe. I think that's how you pronounce it, Scythe. That's how I say it. Maybe it's Scythe. I don't care. I say Scythe. I shall read you the inside jacket cover, description. Thou shalt kill. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all of those things, and has even conquered death. Now skies are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of population in control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own. It's really interesting. This is a book I'm currently reading. Boring naked cover. It's called Sorrowland. It's like a sci-fi book. It's really interesting, but it's really makes you think, and so I'm taking a little bit longer to reading it than usual. But I think it's really interesting. And right now my bookmark is the United States Postal Service ad. Part 1, Kingdom Plantae. Chapter 1. The child gushed out from twixt Vern's legs, ragged and smelling of salt. Slight he was, and feeble as a promise. He felt in her palms a great wilderness, such a tender thing as he could never be parsed fully by the likes of her. Had she more strength, she'd have limped to the river and drowned him. It'd be a gentler end than the one the fiend had in mind. Vern leant against the trunk of a loblolly and pressed the child naked and limp to her chest. His trembling lips lay right over the heart-shaped charm of a locket, would be if she'd ever had a locket. So that's how it's going to be, Win me over with little lip wibbles, she asked, as though she was not one to capitulate for bits for love. This baby had a way about him that most did not. There was courage in his relentless neediness. He would not be reasoned out of his demands. So it starts with a birth, which I think is really interesting. Out in the woods. And we have these two books, which I brought because it's in the same boat of I read these in high school, forgotten everything about them, but I'm pretty sure the authors finished the series, and I remember liking the books literal years ago. I don't know the plot of it at all, but it is the Red Queen series. I have these two books, the Red Queen and the Glass Sword. Now, I don't remember anything about this book, except that I liked it. Ooh, look at the inside. Very cool. Pretty plain. Has this little edge thing for some dimension, but still plain. Red Queen. These letters are slightly raised. That's fun. No way. This book is signed. Since when? See, guys, I told you my memory is so bad. I'm learning new things about myself. When did I get this book signed? Now I gotta read it. So here's a bit of the first page. Let's see if this rings any bells. Chapter 1. I hate First Friday. It makes the village crowded, and now in the heat of high summer, that's the last thing anybody wants. From my place in the shade, it isn't so bad, but the stink of bodies, all sweating with the morning work, is enough to make milk curdle. The air shimmers with heat and humidity, and even Even the puddles from yesterday's storm are hot, swirling with rainbow streaks of oil and grease. The market deflates, with everyone closing up their stalls for the day. The merchants are distracted, careless. It's easy for me to take what I want from their wares. By the time I'm done, my pockets bulge with trinkets, and I've got an apple for the road. Not bad for a few minutes' work. As a throng of people moves, I let myself be taken away by the human current. My hands dart in and out, always in fleeting touches. Some paper bills from a man's pocket, a bracelet from a woman's wrist, nothing too big. Villagers are too busy shuffling along to notice a pickpocket in their midst. She's a pickpocket. That's cool. The Red Queen and the Glass Sword. Red Queen and the Glass Sword. I feel like at some point there's a prince in this. I could be getting that confused with so many other YA novels, but I feel like there's a prince in this. Those are all my fiction books. Now we have some of Mary's books. She brought her own personal collection, her chosen books that she brought that weren't like the Percy Jackson that we both wanted, were the Aragon books. Aragon books. Again, very well loved. These are really soft. A nice, wonderful dragon in front. I don't know much about this book. Oh, except the page numbers are on the side. That's fun. Oh, there's a map. These pages are very soft due to time and Mary reading them a bunch. So these pages are very soft. And I love that. Is Aragon. E-R-A-G-O-N. Aragon. Aragon. If I'm not mistaken, that is the name of the dragon. But then again, I have no idea. Let's read the back. One boy, one dragon, a world of adventure. When Aragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, oh, I guess Aragon's not the dragon then. I was mistaken. When Aragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, he thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps it will buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Aragon soon realizes he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the Empire itself. Overnight, his simple life is shattered, and he is thrust into a perilous new world of destiny, magic, and power. With only an ancient sword and the advice of an old storyteller for guidance, Aragon and the fledgling dragon must navigate the dangerous terrain and dark enemies of an empire ruled by a king whose evil knows no bounds. Can Aragon take up the mantle of the legendary dragon riders? The fate of the empire may rest in his hands. That's a lot of pressure for a child. The second book, I think, is Eldest. Eldest. Which is it's a little bigger than the one before. Again, very well loved, very worn. In the book, I don't know if you can tell, but it is slightly textured. And that's really fun. It's I like it a lot. It's very soft. The third book is Brisinger. I thought it was Rising, but no, there's a lot more letters in that than I thought. Brisinger. Again, 3 pages of table of contents. The first chapter is called The Gates of Death. The last one, which again, just like the Percy Jackson series, we have all paperbacks that are well loved, and then the last book is a hardback. What is that? It is called Inheritance. Inheritance. It is huge. It's very big and very heavy. What? I found a sticky note in it. I think might have been Mary. That's her handwriting. I don't know why. I think she might have been tracking something. I don't know what, though. That is so interesting. Is there like a code in this book? Or did she just like use this as like a bookmark? But yeah, there's that. There's Mary's handwriting exposed. She has good handwriting. Let's see how many chapters are there this time. 3 full pages, and these are big pages. Y'all. This book is big. I mean, these are mine, but they're not books. This is the Spider-Man and X-Men comic book. I just really love Spider-Man, as you guys have known. And I saw this with him in the X-Men. And I love the way it looks. I don't really read comic books, but I just love having it. Like, look how pretty that is. It's just art. Look at that butt, dude. But yeah, like, look at that. Look how beautiful. Like, these pages are just so soft, like newspaper. Like, they're just beautiful. Sounds good. And I have one in a case. It is Spider-Man and Venom. It just look how beautiful this is. Like, look at that. Here, I'll take it out of the sleeve. Let's see. Oh, there's a piece of tape. Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man inside. So that's Carnage. Didn't the new Venom movie, Carnage? I don't remember what the full title is. Just come out. I haven't seen it yet, so I think that's Carnage, played by Woody Harrelson in the movie, which is so funny to me. I love seeing the ads. That's so funny. Ploosh. And then I got... Oh, this one has 2 in it. This one has Spider-Man, something about a gun. Let's open it up, shall we? Spider-Man, something about a gun. It starts with a gun. So maybe it's something about a gun. But I just love the cover so much. Like, look at that. Classic. Sledgehammer. It's a Sledgehammer comic that stars Spider-Man. I think this just also came in the same one as that, because I don't remember buying this. I think this was hidden in there. We got a 2-for-1, baby. Yeah. These pages are really soft. And then the last comic book, like superhero comic book we have, is Deadpool. It's a comic book magazine with a bunch of different Deadpool comics, but it has like these glossy pages. And it is just so cool. just got these books for her birthday, and one of them is missing because she brought it on the plane with her. But it is the Witcher books, because she has played the game Witcher. I think she's played Witcher 3 a few times. And she watched the series, which I have not finished the first season of Witcher, and the second season just came out, so I need to get on that. But this one is The Time of Contempt, and this one is Baptism of Fire. These are very textured. So the second book is The Time of Contempt. The third book is Baptism of Fire. What is the first book? Because she has that with her. The first book is Blood of Elves. The Blood of Elves. That sounds shady. Pretty cool cover though. And this one. These, you can hear how these are textured. They feel really nice. Nice. This is a book Mary bought that I refuse to read because I know it'll wreck me. The Song of Achilles. The same friend that recommended me Red, White, and Royal Blue. They love this book. But she even told me, like, you will not be able to handle this book, and I believe her. So it's a story of Achilles, and I say Patroclus. I say Patroclus, and I know that's not how you say it. I think it's Patroclus, or Patroclus, or I don't know how you say his name, but I say Patroclus, and that's not it at all, but fight me. It's Achilles and Patroclus. But it has this nice, textured, like a helmet. Another Mary must-have that she brought was Anna Green Gables, a classic. I also love this book. I want to reread it so that I can watch the Netflix series Anne with an E. Because I remember really liking this book. I don't remember much about it, except that I liked it. Okay, the first 3 chapters are named Miss Rachel Lynde is surprised. Matthew Cuthbert is surprised. Marilla Cuthbert is surprised. I love that so much. Anne of Green Gables. You can tell this book is also well loved. Here's a book Mary bought at the store for her called They Both Die at the End. I also would not read this book because I knew it would wreck me. But as you can guess from the title, they both die at the end. Also, I love it. It's like a little skull in the background. So good. I personally hate when covers do this and they have like a little, like it's shorter than the lower pages. I don't know why they do that. It annoys me. I know they don't like do it like to personally spite me, but it feels like that sometimes. Like, listen to this tagline. You think I'm gonna read this? We here at last, Friend Inc. are collectively sorry for the loss of you. Our deepest sympathies extend to those who love you and those who will never meet you. We hope you find a new friend of value to spend your final hours with today. Like, are you kidding? That would wreck me. Another book that Mary bought because I recommended it because she was like, I need more books to read. And I was like, I got some recommendations off of like TikTok. This is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Again, the weird like short front cover. Why do they do that? It is so annoying. That sounds good. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So the first line of the back of the cover says, reclusive Hollywood icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. I wonder, it's because she had 7 husbands. That's a pretty glamorous and scandalous life, if you ask me. Here's a book that Mary also has that I have not read. It's called Nimona. It is a graphic novel that she loves, and I really kind of want, I'm really interested. The art style's very cute. I love it so much. Like, look at that. Oh, let's read the back. As sidekick and supervillain, Nimona and Lord Blackheart are about to wreak some serious havoc. Their mission: prove to the kingdom that Sir Ambrosius Golden Loin and his buddies at the Institution of Law Enforcement and Heroics aren't the heroes everyone thinks they are. Nemesis, dragons, science, symbolism. It's Noelle Stevenson. I love Noelle Stevenson. She did She-Ra, which I love. Get it, Noelle Stevenson. Now we enter into the critical roles portion of the video. We have the collection of the Vox Machina origins. I think, like, volume 1. Like, the first one they released is a graphic novel. So I actually just finished the first campaign, the Vox Machina campaign, like a few days ago. I've been doing that since I moved here. And I'm watching The Search for Bob right now. And so, this is really exciting. I cannot wait to read this. We've had this for a while, but I've been waiting until I finished the campaign to read it so I can appreciate it. And it's just very beautiful. And I cannot wait. We have another comic book, but this is from The Tales of Exandria. It is about the Bright Queen. Issue 1. The Tales of Exandria. Like, guys, this is just beautiful. Like, are you kidding? We have one of the Vox Machina Origins issues. It is for Series 3. I think this is like the 4th one. I just saw this when I was walking to work and I was like, I should get that. So I did. We have also the Mighty Knight Origins, Jester Lavore. It is her origin, and I am so excited by this. I love Jester so much. I cosplayed as her at the Denver Comic Con in like 2019 when I met the cast of Critical Role. Like, it is just, oh, like, look how beautiful that is. Okay, I got distracted. So good. And it's really like, it's really nice. Like, even the front is just so beautiful. So cool. We have the World of Critical Role. Mary got this last Christmas, and it's all about like how they've made Critical Role. It's like the epic history behind the epic fantasy. It's like all these like behind the scenes photos of like their home game and explaining like different plot points, and it's just, and like going through all the different characters and NPCs, and like it's just, look where you're going behind the maps, like how Matthew makes his maps and stuff, and it is just so fun and so cool. I love them so much. I love Critical Role, if you guys haven't noticed. And this was my birthday gift to Mary. It's huge. It's the complete collections of Series 1 and 2 of the Vox Machina Origins. Because we didn't keep up with the release, because we didn't have like comic book stores near us when they were releasing, and they would go out fast. So it is the complete series of 1 and 2 of the Vox Machina Origins, and it is huge and heavy, but it is beautiful. Vox Machina. Vox Machina. A good name. Just so good. Let's open to a page, shall we? Oh, okay. I cannot wait to read that. Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which is the world that is set that Matthew Mercer has created himself, called Exandria, but Wildmount is specifically says the book is glossy. You can hear. But then this section is matte. You hear the difference? That's very cool. That's the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. Next we have the classic D&D Player's Handbook, which again has the matte section in the back and the glossy side. Let's pick a page and see what I am. I am the spell, Spare the Dying. It's a necromancy cantrip. You touch a living creature that has 0 hit points. The creature becomes stable. I'll take that. The Monster Manual. The Monster Manual. The Monster Manual on the cover, I believe, is a beholder. Because beauty is in the eyes of beholder. I mean, look at that eye. Pure beauty. The A to Z Fantasy Bestiary. Alright, now let's see what I am. I'm an Etin. If that ain't me. A double-headed. Let's see. A large, giant, chaotic evil. Now let's see. You, the viewer. What are you? Let's see. You are a Minotaur skeleton. Can you see it? That's you. You are a large, undead, lawful evil. Languages. Understands abyssal, but can't speak. Nice long axe. I'll do one for Mary because she's not here and these are her books. And because it's fun. Mary is a monodrone. That little boy right there. That is Mary. A medium construct. Lawful neutral. Checks out for Mary. Disintegration. If the monodrone dies, its body disintegrates into dust, leaving behind its weapon and anything else it was carrying. Nice. Oh, it has True Sight. That's cool. Dungeon Master's Guide. Because Mary is a DM and she's a wonderful DM. The Dungeon Master's Guide. Lots of table of contents. Part 1, Master of Worlds. Ooh. Fun combat encounters. Oh, great urgency. That's a tip you learn in acting as well. Great urgency. Fun fact. So this is the first game I ever fully played on a console. And it is The Last of Us. And Mary and I love this game. She's played it before. She played it before. I watched her play it, and then I played it. And then I watched her play The Last of Us Part 2. I love The Last of Us. It was so fun. Horrifying. And but it was so fun. And this is the art book. So it's the art of The Last of Us. And so it kind of look at that. The art of The Last of Us. Look at this. It just kind of goes through the detailing of all the concept art and how they began. Because that game is gorgeous. If anyone hasn't played it, I recommend it. Because this is what the game looks like. It is just gorgeous. And it is so good. And Ashley Johnson, it gives the performance of a lifetime. And the game's about zombies, if you didn't know. And right here was just so cool. Oh, this level sucked. The bloaters. So gross. Like, look at this. It is just so cool. There's Joel. I cannot wait for the TV show to come out because Pedro Pascal plays Joel, and that's hot. And the last section of the books that we have are just random books that we have that aren't like fiction. My aunt bought this next book for me because I'm a college dropout, and she thought it was funny. It's 101 Things I Learned in Film School. Because she said, well, you didn't finish school, so maybe this will help. I thought it was funny. And honestly, it's really interesting. Because it just like talks about like different techniques and stuff. Because I didn't go to film school, I went to theater school. And I don't know, I just think it's really cool. Because it's like because Mary went to film school. Well, she was a film major. And she's given me insight because I had to be a PA for a shoot. And I didn't learn about that in theater school, but she learned about it in film school and gave me like a little mini course about it, about what to go. But so stuff like that, and like about how to tell stories, and like I don't know, it's really cool. Deus Ex Machina, and it's this nice like. And in Heels, the past, present, and future of women working in film. Because Mary is a video editor. As you know, she edits most of my videos, except for the ASMR ones, because she doesn't like ASMR. And so my aunt bought this for her about women working in film. It's really interesting. Backwards and in Heels. Next up, we have a book that I learned about in high school, in theater class, that was like our textbook. It is called Audition by Michael Shirtliff, and it is very helpful. I love little books like this that have like this. It's Audition, everything an actor needs to know to get the part. So, examples are like practical aspects of the audition, the 12 guideposts, like relationship. What are you fighting for? The conflict. The moment before. Humor. Opposites. Discoveries. Communication and competition. Importance. Find the events. Place. Game playing and role playing. Mystery and secret. And so it just kind of goes through all the different things about acting. And it's really informational and really cool. And it was a fun little textbook that we used in my theater class and like did assignments with and stuff. Another book gifted to me for my mother that's called How to Stop Acting, which sounds like a very aggressive title, like you need to stop acting. No. It's like about acting techniques and stuff, about how to stop acting and just like do it. Yeah, so it reveals the insights and techniques that have worked wonders for the dozens of stage and screen actors he has coached, beginners and stars alike. This is a book I bought because I am an original Dan and Phil stan. It is the You Will Get Through This Night by Daniel Howell. Because it's a practical mental health guide. And as we know, I'm very mentally ill. And I thought it'd be fun. And also I want to support Daniel Howell. It's a very pretty book. I'll give it that. I love the aesthetic. The yellow. So it looks really nice on my shelf. Very dramatic cover. You'll Get Through This Night. I love the title too. That's really cool. So, a little taste. There's like an introduction. How to use this book. Understanding mental health is just like the introduction. Then part 1 is this night. Breathing, finding calm, grounding back to the present, mindfulness, breaking it down. Part 2 is tomorrow. And part 3 are the days after that. Very cool. And another book experience and journey. I haven't actually read this one, or most of the books that have been gifted to me. Haven't fully read them yet because they're not fiction. Finally, we have The Technique of Film and Video Editing. It's a textbook from Mary's college career, but one of her film classes that she kept as a refresher if she ever needed to reference this whole video and film editing. And I think that's hilarious. So we have just like an actual literal college textbook in our apartment. It makes me feel fancy and smart. The Technique of Film and Video Editing. Also very well loved. I can tell Mary did a lot of studying with this. So good for her. Let's flip to a random page and see what's up. No pictures, just text. How the hell did she read this? Okay. And to round us all out, I have the bookmarks that I use. Here are the bookmarks that I use. Mary bought me this bookmark. I thought it's so pretty. It's called Artemis with Orion in the meeting place. Because she knows how much I love the stars and like Orion's belt and stuff. This is beautiful art by Liz Huston. It's Lizhuston. Liz Huston. It is her art. Mary bought this from her at a stand at a bookstore. And then my oldie but a goodie bookmark. My Hunger Games bookmark. That I think came with like, I don't know what, but it shows Love My Life Josh Richardson as Peter Millark. And it has little beads on the end that are kind of annoying sometimes. But nice. So that will conclude my bookshelf tour. That was a lot of books. I've been filming for a while. I didn't realize how many books we had. This is just me living my dream of being a booktuber from when that was like all the rage all those years ago. I would watch like Bull and Banana books so religiously. And I was such into like book culture in high school. And now I'm back in it, baby. But yeah, I love reading. And this was just really fun to make and like reminisce about all these old books that I just read or yet to read or haven't read in a while. So, and I hope you found a book that you like to read. I hope I made some good recommendations. And I hope this was very relaxing. Just a nice video to fall asleep to. Or to like zone out to. You know, whatever. Because I know that I like to listen to just like rambling. Like Bob Ross or something. Before I go to bed. Because it helps me fall asleep and quiet my never-ending brain. So if I was able to do that for you, good. I hope I can help. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And happy holidays. Because again, it is Christmas Eve. It is now dark outside. I started when it was still light outside. It is now dark. And so Santa's coming. I better get to bed. But yeah. I was doing an outro. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I sure did enjoy making it. I like making ASMR videos. It helps calm my anxiety to watch ASMR and to make ASMR videos, which I did not expect. But yeah, so when I'm home alone and anxious, this is something really fun for me to do, to chill out. And so hopefully I can also help you